Japanorama.
Konnichiwa and welcome to Japanorama. Thanks to its geography, its history and an immigration policy so tight it would make even Jim Davidson winch, Japan has one of the world's most homogeneous populations. But although the Japanese are not divided by race, colour or religion, they often voluntarily divide themselves in the manner of cartoon villains and superheroes by their incredibly diverse and eccentric uniforms. Which brings us to tonight's word.
Zoku?
Which means?
Tribes!
That's right, tonight I will your salmon-suited guide to Japan's tribes and their fabulous, fabulous fashions in a show we call Zoku Zoku Bang Bang. In Japan, there's a saying, the nail that sticks out must be hammered down. The idea of conformity and uniformity have been ingrained into Japanese society. Every aspect of the workforce, from the salaryman, slavishly devoted to his corporation, to the road worker or schoolgirl, has been instilled with a sense of pride in knowing one's place. Tonight, Japanorama will celebrate the tribes and their fashions, from the harmless to the fingerless to the downright bizarre. We will explore the beauty of uniformity and the uniforms that hide beneath the clothes. But above all, we will rejoice in what makes Japan so great. The nails that refuse to be hammered down. This is Harajuku Bridge, which every Sunday becomes the trendiest spot in the Eastern Hemisphere. It's like a human zoo of all the youth tribes Japan has to offer. Whether it's rockabillys who have been here for decades or Lolita goths, Harajuku Bridge is the place to be seen by the public. I'm here with Shiho, who's not only a member of a tribe herself, but also something of an expert on the phenomenon. Shiho, how does a kid choose what tribe to belong to?
It's just intuition, really. You just choose what you like and you become a certain style. It's just doing what you like, clothes that you like, haircuts you like, makeup you like, and then you fall naturally under a certain style.
Who are these ladies here? These,
Let's just say it's Lolita style.
Lolita goth. Hey, okay.
It's the Victorian style of French aristocrats. This is black, but if you wear pink, it becomes pink Lolita.
Okay, and is this the Gangura? This is your tribe, yeah? Okay, okay. Garo. Gario? Garo. Boy is Garo and girls is Garu. Garo. The Garu tribe are famous for dressing as Californian girls, wearing fake tan and blonde hair, and can often be seen hanging around Shibuya Station. Can you tell me, what tribe should I belong to, do you think?
Little bad guy.
Yeah, cool bad guy. Oh yeah. How do I? Kore wa nanta desu ka? Kuru bad guy. Kuru bad guy desu. What look is this here? These men have.
Japanese businessman.
Oh, they're just businessmen here for a day out. I do apologize. Okay. Arigato. As well as the distinctive way they all look, the tribes also have their own different ways of moving. The schoolgirls have what's called para dancing, made of simple, pointy moves. Other tribes and their dances have been imported from the West, like this rockabilly Zoku that's been dropping shapes in the park since the 60s. And the latest moves to hit the islands are raunchy with a capital. It's Jamaican dance hall, and one person has pioneered it in Japan.
Hi, my name is Junko. I'm dancehall queen from Jamaica, but I'm a Japanese.
A few years ago, Junko shook the very roots of Jamaican culture when she nabbed the coveted dancehall Queen of Jamaica title right from under the noses of the very people that created it. She braved death threats from jealous Jamaican rivals and made dancehall one of the hippest underground movements in Japan.
You put on a record and the crowd goes wild. I was completely absorbed by it, so that's how I got into it. If it's a song I really like, I dance like crazy.
When a dance craze kicks off in Japan, everyone wants to know how to do it. So Junko released a best-selling DVD to help train her dance disciples, showing them exactly how to do the moves. And by gosh, did they run with it.
The truth is that it's about many people coming together in a fun environment and enjoying themselves, bringing together elements of fun throughout the night.
That's how Junko, the raunchiest tribal dancing queen in the land of the rising bums. The Zoku and their outfits make urban Japan a human landscape of visual enchantment. The biker girls, the Lolita goths, the cosplayers, even the parking attendants and construction workers here sport uniforms that really put the zazz into pizzazz, whereas we in Britain only take the piz. When the Japanese first discovered uniforms, everyone wanted one. But when there weren't enough to go around, riots broke out. Soon enough, everyone did get one, plus a free toy, and Japan was transformed. Oh, hello. Apart from the usual uniforms like police and the army, there are uniforms for virtually every job going, from the elevator girl to the road sweeper. One thing that a uniform gives its wearer is pride. And when you get pride, you get a good worker. And when you get a good worker, you get a country that's rocketed to the second largest economy in the world in just 50 years. And they still eat with sticks. It's become so important that they even have a professor of uniforms. This is Nobuyuki Mori, whose life work is the study of uniforms. He's written over 6 books on the subject.
There are many people who collect stamps, but I collect information on uniforms, comparing and contrasting different styles.
He also collects dolls, but of course only the ones wearing the uniforms he studies.
This is a commonly seen uniform for an office lady, and this one is a nurse called Nurse Rika-chan. They don't make these with a cap anymore, but here he has a cap with a red cross on it.
Back in my Tokyo apartment, I'm here with Yun Mao, my trusty assistant. As a professional cosplayer, she is, of course, an expert in all things uniform. Tonight, she's dressed as a vintage all-Nippon Airways stewardess. In Japan, the uniforms for flight attendants are the most sought after of all professions. In fact, an authentic item can fetch thousands of pounds on the grey market, often selling to costume fetishists, which I suppose is hardly surprising when you consider that such world-class designers as Issey Miyake and Comme des Garçons have plied their magic for all Nippon Airways, or ANA. O genki desu ka?
Genki desu.
ANA was one of the first airlines to get its uniforms looking ship-shape by getting trendy fashion designers to work their magic. And it wasn't long before other industries followed suit, blending the boundaries between functional workwear and fashion. Never underestimate the importance of looking good when you're saving lives. In Japan, almost every labour-orientated vocation has its own distinct, dashing and ingeniously detailed uniform. Now, you may claim that back home in Britain, our own blue-collar professions also have dress codes that they're proud of, but let's face it, there are only so many kinds of builder's bum that you can put up with. Who wears these clothes? Who are these for?
These are for skilled laborers, for workers. This is how it works.
Okay, so that goes into the boot, and then this, and that's there for... And I suppose that's designed so that if you're near machinery, if it catches it, you know you're near something dangerous.
Maybe.
Some of these designs, they look to me like fashion clothes. Do you ever have fashion designers come here to look at the ideas?
Kansai Yamamoto has come here for inspiration.
Yamamoto?
And John Paul Gaultier came here once.
See, I knew he was stealing from somewhere. Do you have some in my size?
It will be 100 centimeters in the leg.
Check it out. Make some space in the case. These are coming home. This road worker outfit is practical, yet would look great on any dance floor. This outfit will make any scaffolder proud. Ninja shoes for extra grip come in fetching canary yellow. And any gardener will tell you that when pruning the roses, it's best to look like a bee to avoid being stung. I particularly like the kind of boob tube. So from a time not so long ago when there were no uniforms to everyone having one, it seems Japan can no longer survive without them.
If all of a sudden uniforms were to vanish from Japan, there would be chaos.
A century ago, when it began engaging with the outside world, Japan adopted Western-style school uniforms, which of course have been customised by each successive generation. But one item which has survived the fickle wind of Japanese fashion is the loose socks worn by the schoolgirls, as so beautifully demonstrated here by Yun Mao. Yun Mao is demonstrating a new type of glue made specifically for the task of keeping one's socks at exactly the required length while still looking loose. All you need to do is smear what looks like a kind of Pritt stick around the required area of limb. Then carefully pat the sock to the skin. Your sock will stay at the required length but still look cute all day. Uniforms are so popular now that there are specialist shops where collectors can go to satisfy their cravings. This place just outside of Tokyo sells all sorts, from air stewardesses to catering staff.
I've got 500 uniforms on display and about 7,000 in stock. Prices range from a single skirt at £15 to a very rare items that sells for £2,500.
But Tanaka-san doesn't sell to the woman looking for a smart skirt for her job.
95% of my customers are male, and they are nearly 100% normal businessmen. About 90% of them are in their 30s and 10% in their 40s. I have to sell a uniform big enough for my customers to wear themselves, so I approach graduate girls to sell me their unwanted uniforms. I also pay girls to introduce me to the bigger girls.
Perhaps unsurprisingly, Tanaka-san is no stranger to uniforms himself. He loves them so much, he's been wearing them all his life.
Once I used to wear school uniforms like this one, but I got bored of them. I think it's something to do with hormones, because now I'm really into wearing elevator girls' uniforms.
A splendid choice, Tanaka-san. You look quite the part.
In Japan, on school graduation day, a girl will ask the boy she likes for the second button on his school uniform. That is because the second button is closest to the heart. Therefore, he's giving her his heart.
Sir Paul Smith is a fashion designer of international renown. There are Paul Smith shops worldwide. His business turns over a cool £280 million a year, and he puts it all down to the support and popularity he got from Japan when he started out in the 1980s. He has over 160 shops in Japan alone, where he's treated like a star. He once had to jump over a wall to avoid being mobbed by fans. I caught up with him for a chat in Tokyo, where he recently opened yet another shop called Space. But these I love. I'm not allowed to learn to ride a bike because my wife says I'll kill myself.
Well, I think it's very dangerous. Well, do you want to sit on one then? Bonneville, it's called a Bonneville.
I can barely even get my leg over it.
So they say.
I tell you what I wanted to ask you is, one thing that fascinates me here in Japan are the uniforms.
Yeah.
That you see everywhere.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's not really a military thing at all. It just seems to be a lot. I don't know whether it's a love of identifying things, categorizing.
respect for authority and identifying things. I think that's what it's all about.
Could you see those uniforms catch on the UK? I mean, would that not be something you could export back?
I don't think we'd give in to it. You know, I don't think the British workman would just say, no, mate. I'm okay, I'm okay showing my backside.
I'm tired of seeing the plumbers crack. Yeah, I don't want to speak.
This is interesting. This is taken from, all the inspiration taken from old Japanese workwear. This is called sashiko stitching, because in Japan, when they used to get a problem with the clothes wearing out, rather than just throw them like we would do, they repaired them. So I took
even a small... So where the fibre's been worn away, they would replace it.
And it's called sashiko stitching. So I did the whole thing based on old Japanese workwear that they used to wear in the rice fields.
And do you think, and so say kids coming and buying this, they would know what that was?
Yeah. So I'm trying to get the link still with some tradition if I can. Yeah.
So why do you think the Japanese customer, the Japanese person, has taken your design or your shops or your ideas to heart? Why are you?
I think a lot of it, frankly, is just to the fact of is really hard work. I've been companies about my 85th trip or something. I enjoyed the culture, I embraced it, tried to learn about it, and of course I suppose the clothes help. They like the clothes as well. Of course,
and you're now fluent in Japanese and I believe have several families dotted around the country.
Correct, in both cases, yes.
Like me, Paul loves collecting, but unlike me, he sells the things he's gathered in his shops. And it's worth holding on to everything, isn't it? You know, I have to reset that. It's like the OCD of me. I don't know, I think of it on mine for no reason. You know, I'm more excited by public image, I'll be honest. If you had to sum up what was different, you thought, about the Japanese people and, say, the rest of the world and maybe the UK in particular, what would it be?
I think the long-term view on business and making things work. I mean, I never made money here probably for 5 years for them.
Really?
And they were just willing to, hang in there knowing that you would come good.
Yeah. Paul, frankly, we flew all this way, and let's face it, we found a store that we could have found around the corner in Soho.
I know, sorry about that.
Wasn't with just a bit of bamboo. Matter of fact, people are going to think we shot this in London.
Yeah, and it was like somebody outside roving the bamboo.
From B&Q, a few bits of fresh bamboo. Lovely to see you here, though. It seems kind of right somehow.
Yeah, it felt nice.
Thank you.
Do you want a big nose? I'll have a big nose, thank you. You got one? Hello. Hello.
Japanorama. This is a huge dream for us to be playing here. Well, what's my name? Konbanwa. We are the Magic Numbers.
With the world's second biggest record market, if you're a top British band, you're going to want to try and conquer Japan. So find out how it's done, as each week we join the Magic Numbers, Romeo, Michelle, Sean and Angela on their debut Japanese tour.
Hi, we're the Magic Numbers. Come join us on the road as we tour Japan.
Now we're going to cosplay, and it's supposed to be like a kind of where people dress up as in manga costumes, and so that should be exciting.
No, I'm not getting a picture of no fucking nurse.
What I kind of got from it was playing on the naivety of young girls reenacting men's fantasies. Maybe if I knew more about the subject, maybe I'll think differently on it.
Waza waza kite karete arigato. Thank you so much for coming to the show tonight. Shit, man.
I'm impressed.
And so, Tsuru Noah. It's like I'm going for an exam. Konbanwa. We are the Magic Numbers. It's I love you. Aisteru. That was the one I put down. Nihon o Aisteru. Let the sun be warm. Changing, baby, I wanna learn how to ride. Fun to know is I wanna go where the beat will go. You sound sing with us.
Since the 1950s, one of the most iconic looks in Japan has been the shiny suit, the pomaded hair and the sunglasses of the local gangster, or yakuza. While most of Japanese society is striving to conform and blend in, the yakuza tribe prides itself on standing out from the crowd. This is Mr. Tanaka, an ex-yakuza boss turned legitimate businessman. Whilst he's no longer married to the mob, he's still in love with the style.
I fix up all my fashion in white and gold. From the top, Armani glasses, Rolex watch, Hermes leather and fur jacket. On the bottom, white belt, white trousers, shoes, shiny snake shoes. This is also one of my favorite suits. It's made from 3 anacondas, and it really stands out, so I really like it. Trouble is, I can't take it to the cleaners.
To be a yakuza look, do you need to have the hair in a certain way? Do you have to wear certain shoes? Is the tooth, the diamond tooth, is that a good thing for yakuza?
The way you walk, how you look in the eye, it's more about attitude. Looking like you can go into battle mode at any time. If you stand out from the crowd, people will acknowledge you are a gangster, and hence you get respect.
So gangster walk. Can I see the gangster walk? You're going to show me? You're not taking me away somewhere, is he? This way. Okay, you ready? Okay. In recent years, the government has been cracking down on yakuza activity. Tough new laws have meant they've had to change their style. But we risked life and limb to get an interview with 3 of Tokyo's toughest bosses, all in the name of fashion. And they look surprisingly less flamboyant than we'd expected. This is a yakuza boss from Tokyo's prosperous Shinjuku district.
Well, at the time, the Yakuza wanted to stand out from the crowd. However, the laws have changed. If we wear loud clothes and gather on a street corner with about 5 others, we'd now become subject to arrest. To avoid that as much as possible, we toned down activities in the street as well as wearing quieter clothes.
So goodbye snakeskin suits. Hello, soft cotton leisure wear.
It's always casual clothes that we wear. The only exceptions when we wear formal clothes for duties, for ceremonies and funerals.
Today is generally black all over. I just happened to throw this on today. Normally we wear clothes that are easy to move around in, and we avoid clothes that use synthetic materials.
We like to wear clothes with more class, one rank higher than ordinary people.
To help them decide what to wear, yakuza have their own magazines with fashion spreads galore. This is an ex-yakuza. He served 17 years in prison and is now a journalist and expert on yakuza fashion.
The yakuza like to show their uniqueness. Despite the scary looks, it gives a contrast with the cuteness. It actually makes us look more scary. What I'm wearing now is a typical easy wear. It's our typical rough outfit. What we wear when we have office duties. Out of those, the designer label Pele Pele is quite popular among the young cats.
But though they've had to tone down their look, some traditions haven't changed.
A missing joint, amputated by the offender in front of the others, was the price extracted for failure.
There are 3 different scenarios for losing your finger. When I do something that's forbidden by my boss, when the younger cats do something that's forbidden and I cover for them, and finally when the head wants to settle a fight between other groups.
Japanorama.
The yakuza may be able to blend in now, but there's one trademark they keep very close to their skin: the tattoo. Tattoos became popular in the 17th century when prisoners were tattooed for identification. Like asbos, they quickly became a badge of honor and mandatory for yakuza. Tattoos are totally taboo in Japanese society. Until recently, it was illegal to display them in public. It can take 20 years for a full body tattoo to be completed, and it takes a master tattooist like Kitamura-san to do it.
I've tattooed between 7,000 and 8,000 people already.
Yakuza don't pussyfoot around with a slim needle. Their tattoos are literally chiseled into their skin.
This is called nomi, the same name as the carpenter's tool. They used to be made of bamboo, but the problem with those is that you can't sterilize them. This is charcoal. We use it for the shading. It's called irizumi. I think it's only China and Japan that use charcoal. They use ink in the West.
His reputation is worldwide. Yakuza have been coming to him for years.
I have a session about twice a month. It really hurts. I chose the dragon. I couldn't decide whether I should get a cup or a dragon, but I got the dragon on the back. Basically, it resembles a dragon climbing from the sea to the heavens.
Many believe the tattoos will protect them from harm.
It's a Japanese Buddhist goddess riding on a dragon. She eats children.
In Japan, men with tattoos have been shunned by society, so for women, tattooing is completely taboo. This is Shoko Tendo. She's the daughter of an ex-Yakuza boss and has written a book about her life that is being made into a film.
When I was growing up, all the people around me, including my father, had tattoos. I think this really influenced me. My tattoos have all been done with machine rather than the hand traditional method. It actually hurts much more than having it done by hand. I prefer it in terms of time because I cannot bear to go through the continuous pain for years to cover a large area. My back took 5 days and my front another 5 days. My legs took 1 month. The Yakuza is in my bloodline and my father's bloodline. Tattoos makes myself me, and without them I'm no one.
Tattoos are life itself. From my standpoint right now, without tattoos, a person is simply not there.
Well, we've segmented the Japanese populace like a shiny satsuma, but what have we learned? If nothing else, the Zoku teach us that no matter how far outside the mainstream you may be, no matter how misfit or lonely, there are others out there just like you, and you can join with them and be part of something. If only they weren't all such weirdos. Oh yeah, someone to say. Good night.
We give you another chance to see I'm With Stupid tomorrow at 11 here on 3, but next up tonight, it's a Trauma Uncut double bill.